Worrying wings, but a magnificent Max. Yeah, a roller coaster ride for Red Bull this Saturday in Austin, Texas, as Max Verstappen took top spot on the grid for Sunday's race, but only after Red Bull made frantic repairs to the rear of their car after cracks appeared in those rear wings. But the repairs were made, Perez looked near perfect, and Lewis Hamilton is feeling the squeeze, sandwiched between the two Red Bulls. Yes, there's plenty to talk about from Saturday's qualifying session, so before we go any further, hit the subscribe button down below to stay with us throughout the remainder of this season in Formula 1 here with GP fans. And let's get into the news and the headlines from the American Grand Prix qualifying in Austin, Texas. Max Verstappen put in an unbelievable 1 minute 32.910 lap to take pole position for the American Grand Prix this coming Sunday. It's the 8th pole position in 11 races for the Flying Dutchman, and the first time a non-Mercedes driver has sat on pole in Austin, Texas since the start of the turbo hybrid era. The Dutchman put in his fastest lap when it mattered most, on his final run of Q3, nabbing back pole position just a few seconds after title rival Lewis Hamilton had knocked him off top spot, despite there being talks of rain starting to fall in the pit lane late on in Q3. And Red Bull were delighted with their qualifying session because, of course, they were able to sandwich Lewis Hamilton between Max Verstappen and third place Sergio Perez to start the grid on Sunday. Valtteri Bottas came in 4th in qualifying, but a 5-place grid penalty will move the Finn back down to 9th, bumping up the two Ferraris of Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz to 4th and 5th, just behind the championship battlers, while the two orange McLarens of Danny Ricciardo and Lando Norris end up behind the Ferraris in 6th and 7th, with Pierre Gasly 8th and Yuki Tsunoda 10th, rounding out the top 10. The only major shock of Q1 on Saturday was seeing Lance Stroll miss out on Q2, as the young Canadian rounded out the bottom 5. He was unable to salvage his session at the end, while his teammate Sebastian Vettel showed what the Aston Martin could do by sticking his car in the top 10 in the first part of qualifying, despite Vettel being guaranteed to start at the back of the grid anyway after engine penalties. Q2 saw Verstappen beat out both the Mercedes as the Top Guns went out on the medium tyre, with the Dutchman topping the times with a 1 minute 33.4, with Hamilton 0.3 seconds slower than his title rival, while Sergio Perez and Danny Ricciardo were forced to take second runs at making the top 10 on the yellow stripe tyre after breaching track limits on their initial outings. The McLaren driver just about making the cut for the final shootout, while Checo rolled around in the 7th fastest time of Q2. It was the AlphaTauris, the Ferraris, the McLarens, the Red Bulls and the Mercedes that all made Q3, and immediately on the first runs, the blue, yellow and red beasts from the Milton Keynes base constructor stunned the packed grandstands, with Sergio Perez leading in the initial runs with a 1:33.180 and Verstappen just 0.019 seconds behind him, while Bottas and Hamilton were over a third of a second off the pace of their rivals in 3rd and 4th respectively. But Hamilton came firing back with his second run as he was out of the pit lane first, leading the charge, taking top spot with a 1:33.119. But just a few corners back, Verstappen was on a tear. As rumours of rain circulated around the pit lane on the team radios, Verstappen smashed through with his fastest lap of the session, despite the light drizzle, 0.2 of a second faster than his title rival, who he once again lines up alongside on the front row of the grid. I think yesterday the setup we arrived at the track with was just a little bit out, said Red Bull boss Christian Horner when asked by Sky Sports F1 about the gradual build in pace that Red Bull have had over the weekend so far. I think we just tuned the car in, we've managed to improve the traction and managed to improve the car a bit over the bumps, and the drivers, you can see their confidence has just grown and grown, so that was a big factor. Particularly on the mediums, we were debating at one point, would a medium be the better tyre for Q3? Speaking about Sergio Perez taking 3rd to put the squeeze on Lewis Hamilton on race day, Horner added, Checo races so well. Qualifying has been his struggle this year. He's right there. It's the first time we've got 2 cars against 1. It's the first time in the hybrid era anybody other than Mercedes has qualified on pole here. So another milestone for us. So the job is partly done for Red Bull. Christian Horner obviously elated we're seeing his cars first and third on the grid. But who is going to be first coming out of turn 1 on Sunday? Will it be Max? Will it be Lewis? Will it be another cataclysmic collision? And what part will Checo play, with Bottas so far back in 9th, unable to support his Mercedes teammate? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And of course, stick with us all weekend and throughout this incredible triple header and for the remainder of the season by hitting the subscribe button and staying up to date with everything that we do here at GP Fans.